Hi friends, I'm Felicia. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my May wrap-up. Not as late as last month, so yay me. I had a great reading month. It was awesome. I read 10 books. 10 books! I thought last month with my 10 books that was awesome, and then I did it again. I'm awesome. So, yeah. I read 2 graphic novels, 3 audiobooks, and 5 physical books. So that was very good. Yeah, I'm just gonna start. I forgot to take a thumbnail for my book haul. I'll just start with the graphic novels. The first graphic novel that I read is French Milk by Lucy Knisley. This was one of the books that I just bought this last month. I read this book and I gave it 3.25 stars. I thought it was a cute little graphic novel memoir. I've never really read anything like that before except Persepolis, and that's definitely not cute. This is more like more diary style. Like, it is actually her diary, so it kind of felt like you were reading daily blog posts of something or something about like her trip. Lucy and her mother, they go to Paris and they live there for a month or 6 weeks or something, and she just talks about kind of their everyday life, things that are going on there, and I thought it was very cute. She focused a lot on the culture of Paris versus US culture, the relationships, how her relationship with her boyfriend and her friends and her parents changed because she was living there with her mom. It was also very interesting to experience a story like this through drawings. I hadn't read anything like that before. I thought it was pretty cute. Just reader be warned, they go to a lot of galleries, and so she sometimes recreates the pictures that they saw, and they saw a lot of nudes. So there are like nude drawings in here, as well as a photograph I think that she took in a subway or something, and there's like a topless woman. Just, yeah. So there's some nudie bits in this book, which, yeah, it kind of made me blush a little bit. I wasn't expecting it. But yeah, so you expect it if you're going to read this. The next graphic novel that I read was Flight Volume 1, edited and compiled by Kazu Kibuishi, who, as you might know, is the author of the Amulet series, which I love. And my husband has been collecting these books for many years, since before we started dating. This book was published in 2004. And he's basically been collecting them since probably close to then. And so I was like, well, I should probably read these. They're sitting on my shelf, and they're by an artist that I like. So yeah, this is a compilation of a lot of different, what do you want to call it, artists. Some of them I've heard of, not a lot. Jen Wang, who is part of the duo that did In Real Life. You might have heard about that. She's in this one. Yeah, I think she's actually the only other one that I've heard of. I know in some of the later volumes that there are more people that I've heard of. And I thought this was really cool. I gave it 3.5 stars. Because this is a compilation of a lot of different artists, there were some that I liked more than others, some that I didn't like at all. But overall, I thought it was pretty neat. Can you see? Oh, like there's like tons of different art styles in here. And the reason that it's called Flight is because all of these stories have some kind of theme of flight in them. So I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, if you like graphic novels, then you might want to pick this up, and you'll find some people that you never heard of before that you might like. Now I will move on to the audiobooks that I read. The first audiobook that I listened to was Atlantia by Ali Kandi. I gave that 3 stars. It was okay. The premise of it was pretty unique. It's about a society that lives in an underground city. So I was kind of under the impression that it was going to be like a mermaid kind of book, but it's not. The romance in it was pretty cute. It was actually pretty realistic. Kind of like a slow burning thing from two people that known each other for a long time. But the story is actually not focused on the romance, which I liked. It's focused more on family relationships. And so I thought that was cool. That doesn't always happen. The characters and the plot could have been developed more. I wanted more from the backstory because this was such a unique world. I just wanted it to be more explained, I guess. And the character stayed pretty static throughout, which is not my favorite. And the writing was at times very repetitive. Oh, my battery's gonna die. Okay, now I have to talk fast. So, yeah. Overall, it was okay. If you liked Ali Condi's Match series, then you might like this. And if you don't like her writing, then yeah, don't even try. And the audiobook was okay. I listened to it in 2 sittings. It was alright. So, yeah. Or not 2 sittings, like 3 sittings, I don't know. The next audiobook that I listened to, I also have a physical book for, and that was Please Ignore Vera Dietz by A.S. King. I actually purposely picked a book that I had on my TBR shelf, and I thought, this is a good way to knock some of these books from unread to read. So I saw that this one was available from my library's Overdrive app, so I got it. I gave this 3 stars as well. The writing is really good. A.S. King is a really good writer. There were... What am I going to say? Yeah, her writing is really good and engaging. The character growth was good. I liked the way that they developed over the course of the story. There was... I also like this book kind of weaves the past and the present together. And I like the way that the author did that. I thought she was really good at that. There are parts of the story that are really quite crude. There is a fair amount of swearing in it. And it has some heavy subjects like alcoholism and drug use and I guess sexual abuse. I guess that's what you would call it. And physical abuse, and so it's like it's a heavy story, but I think it's told very well. But yeah, I was kind of conflicted about that. There are some very crude elements to the plot. It did remind me a lot of Eleanor Park and We Were Liars, so if you liked either of those, you might like this one. And the audiobook was really good. That one I did listen to in 2 days, so it was pretty good. The third audiobook that I listened to was The Ghost Bride by Yang Sichul, and I gave that 4 stars. I thought it was really good. I decided to get that one after Jenny from Jenny King mentioned it in one of her wrap-ups, and she said that she was actually really glad that she'd listened to it on audio because it has a lot of traditional Chinese names, and so listening to them instead of trying to sound it out in your mind, it just kind of took away that element and it was just easier to experience. And this story was way different than what I was expecting. It's about, it's a rare tradition, but it is a tradition of ghost marriage where the man, usually man, has died without getting married, and so his family will arrange a marriage to him with a living girl so that he can still be married and have that legacy, I guess. And so this focuses on that. The main character is Li Lan, and she is arranged into one of these marriages, which she doesn't want. And I thought it was just going to be kind of a historical novel with stuff like that, but it actually is a lot of like Chinese mythology and kind of fantasy, and it's just like really weird, but it was really good. It's just like crazy trip. And the writing was just beautiful. I thought it was great. I will pick up Yang Sichul's next book because it was just so good. It was very clever. And the audiobook is actually narrated by the author herself, which is very cool. So you can kind of hear like her take on expression and stuff like that. So I would recommend picking up the audiobook too. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it. Okay, moving on to the physical books that I read. I don't know what's with this face. The first physical book that I read was The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I gave this 5 stars. I loved it. This is an amazing fantasy story. I loved the characters. I love the writing. I love the world. I just have nothing bad to say about this book. If you haven't read it, pick it up. The mystery just had me going like the whole time because there's a prince and an assassin, and you don't know which character is the prince and which character is the assassin. She kind of, and she did that so well, keeping it like a secret, like not revealing it too soon. I did have a guess, and my guess was correct, so that was good. I was happy about that. And yeah, I did this as a buddy read with Tiffany from The Crafty Home, and we both just really enjoyed it. Yeah, read it, and I'm like, no! Oh, why would you do that? I'm gonna be pre-ordering the next book. Battery is gonna die, don't you know this? The next book that I read was The Heir by Kira Cass. This is the 4th book in the Selection trilogy, and I really enjoyed it. This is kind of continuation. It follows the daughter of the king and the queen from the Selection series, and now it's her turn to have a selection, and so I really liked it. I don't even have any shame that I like this series. I know a lot of people don't. I like it. Sometimes you just need to read things that are easy, okay? And this is easy, and it's cute, and I like it, and whatever. I don't care what you say. And I find it kind of funny because the main character in this, Aidlin, she's very different from the perfect, typical female main character. And people are actually not responding to her very well. I've heard a lot of negative stuff about her. And, like, just hold your horses, because character growth in the next book, you already saw it towards the end of this one. Like, I see lots of room for growth for her in the next book. Yeah, and I thought that the events in this book are a good continuation of the events of the last one. I mean, there are some things that I feel like could be explained more or fit better, but for the most part, I liked it. Don't really have that many complaints. They're not serious complaints, because I'm just choosing to not complain about them. I gave this book 4.5 stars. I don't even care. The next book that I read was Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I finally read it, and I gave it 4.25 stars because most of it was awesome. There was a part in the beginning with like serious religion bashing, especially Christianity, which as a Christian I do not appreciate. But like even in general, just bashing all religions isn't very nice. Like, you shouldn't do that, Ernest Cline. Although I understand that in the world in this book, yes, it's a very valid point, I suppose. Like, a valid viewpoint. I don't know. Still didn't appreciate it, but whatever. And then there's also, like, a really crude sexual reference towards the middle. I didn't like that either. But, other than that, it was so much fun. I had so much fun reading it. I stayed up late till, like, 1 a.m. reading this book. I love sleeping. I do not stay up late to read anymore because I love sleeping. And I stayed up late to read this. And I wanted to finish it, but then, like, the part of me that loves sleeping was being really loud. So I didn't finish it, but I almost finished it. And, like, it was just so good. Like, it was just such a fun adventure. And I had so much fun. And, like, some of the references I got... Like, there is so much 80s references and pop culture references, and my only thing that I thought was stupid is that there's a character in here that has, spells her name. My battery died. So I was talking about Ready Player One. I was talking about how one of the characters explains leet to the main character. That is stupid. Like, no, you wouldn't. You would never explain what leet is to someone that comments that your name is leet. Like, it just doesn't happen. So that was like the one part that just irritated me. But other than that, this book was pretty good, so I would recommend it. The next book that I read was Paris Letters by Janice McLeod, and this book is awesome. I gave it, what did I give it? I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars because I loved it. This is a memoir of a woman who quits her job and moves to Paris, and she's just basically living the dream. I actually bought this book because I actually heard about this Paris Letters project long time ago. She has an Etsy store where she sells a subscription package where you can buy her Paris letters and she sends them to you every month. This is one of her paintings. She does a painting and then she writes a letter to you every month. And I just think it's awesome. It's beautiful. Her art is beautiful. And I saw this book at Chapters and I just had to get it. And I loved it. And this woman is a Canadian, so yay, what? And yeah, so she quits her job. She saves up for a year. She gets rid of so much of her possessions. And I just found it like so awesome to read about. I love reading about people like purging stuff. And just like the rush that it gives them. I love it. And so she moves to Paris. Her intent is actually to travel Europe for a while, but then she meets somebody and she ends up moving to Paris. And so there's like that romance aspect, and there's also just like her finding her artistic self. She worked in a corporate marketing, advertising, copywriting. She did copywriting. That's what she did. She did copywriting and advertising for many years, and so she quits her job, and then she's like finding her artist self again, and I loved reading about that. I would consider myself artistic. I'm not an artist, but I'm artistic, and it just really inspired me to kind of find my own niche when it comes to art, I guess. And so, yeah, I would highly recommend this if you're looking for a good memoir, or if you are artistic and are wanting to read something like that, or if you want to read about Paris. Like, just the way that she writes about Paris is just beautiful, and I just want to go there. It's just very inspiring. So, yeah, 5 stars. I would highly recommend that you pick it up. The final book that I read was Austenland by Shannon Hale. I gave this 4 stars because it was deliciously cheesy. I actually watched the movie before I bought the book, and I don't even care that it has the movie cover, because Brett McKenzie, yeah, you find their faces, camera. That's Carrie Russell's face. Find Brett McKenzie's face. Okay. I thought it was cute. I mean, if you're looking for some cute chick lit, something kind of fluffy and predictable, like, go for this. Also, the main character, Jane, is a sassy pants, and I just loved it. I was like laughing at some of the things that she was thinking and feeling. And I think we can all relate a little bit with the Jane Austen addiction. Well, those of us that are Jane Austen addicted, we can relate with that. But yeah, I would recommend this if you're a fan of Jane Austen and all things related. And it's a short one. It's 200 pages, just under. So you can rip this out in a day. I believe in you! So that's all the books that I read in May. I read so many books and so many good books. Yes, that's all I have to say. Have you read any of these books? Have I inspired you to pick any of these books up? Please. What am I saying? Please leave a comment down below with your thoughts, and I will see you soon with another video. Goodbye.